Ayy, give me the chip. I need the championship. Wait, we got a dream.
Hey everyone, JP here with Meats Fam Customs. Part 3 of doing this chop that we're working on. Sorry for the delay. Had a couple health issues on the go here. Had to go get the old ticker checked out. So we kind of had to hold up a little bit here, but we've been doing some work here. Got a bit of work done on it. We got most of this thing tacked together now. What we got going on? Right there, you start seeing those lines. And so that's our 5-inch chop here. So, like I said, we got decided to cut the post here in the middle. And got it all tacked together. One of those late night screw around jobs here. Put some tape here. We're gonna end up slitting this here, pulling that in so we can line all this up. Then make that all look pretty. I got this here tacked up. We're gonna have to slit this a little bit and fit that all nice. We'll end up slitting it down here, bringing that in, slitting it here, bringing that out a bit. We'll go through it, don't worry. Same thing here at the back. In here's all actually really coming in nice. I'm really happy with this. Even in here, need a little bit of work. As roughly have it tacked. I haven't, pulled everything all nice and welded everything up all nice. In here, it's coming nice. It's coming really nice. I'm just working here at the back and getting that all figured out and getting that all pulled together. So just got to get some ratchet straps. You can see the one there already. Some ratchet straps to pull stuff around. But as far as this here, this is it's beautiful. I'll be honest, it's beautiful. You don't have that seam in the back here. You have to split this and spread and move everything. This here has turned out, I said, if you got a TIG weld, even with a MIG, man, you're going to get in here nice, and then just get in there with a nice little cut-off disc and round that all beautiful. And a nice little skim coat. There, a nice little skim coat's all you're going to need. And, if you're leaving it, the patina look, there you can clean that up nice, put it outside, make it rust nice, and you won't even be able to tell this thing's been chopped in here. So that's all, like I said, I'm really, I'll be chopping these things from now on. And that's like this. So what I want to do now is I want to get these doors cut, is what I want to do, and get them fit in the hole here. Get them fit in that hole, and make sure your body lines and everything are all going to line up. And before we go much farther, so I'm going to end up, if you notice, I didn't cut my doors when they're on here. I cut my doors afterwards. And that way you can play with your lines. If you have to wedge it a bit to make these lines all line up straight and everything. And I'll show you a little trick I learned way back on how to make sure that your window line here lines up with your window line here. So you don't have one going like this and one going like this, and then it messes with your freaking eyes later on in life. So we'll go through on getting these doors cut up, getting them on there, and making everything look pretty, make everything line up here. So that's part of the reason why I haven't welded all these posts up solid yet. I don't want to weld everything up solid until you get your door and everything in here, because once you get that in, then you can line stuff up. If you got to break a weld to line things up, then you can. So that's part of the reason why. It's just get everything in here. Don't be in a hurry and just start laying freaking weld everywhere. So that's where we're at right now. So I'll get these doors up and we'll get them measured up. Here we go. Well, we got the door brought in here. There we go. One door. So what we're going to do here is the same idea as what we did on the rest of the other chop there that you saw in part 1. What we're going to do, first thing is just lining everything up. Just lay your door out like this and just take a look at your door. Take a look at where your straights are, where your hinges are, even your inside track. And because I've done them before where you get messed up on your inside track, where if I would have moved the cut, say half an inch or something like that, it would have made life a whole lot easier. So just sort of look at everything that could cause you havoc later on in life. Maybe just moving cuts around a little bit. And that's the other thing, your cut doesn't have to be in line here, as long as you're pulling 5 inches out. So, here you can pull 5 inches out here, and you can pull 5 inches out here. It doesn't have to be in a nice straight line. If the straight line doesn't work, and it's going to cause you grief afterwards, move your cuts around. And so that's the big, just take a look before you start cutting and hacking, and make sure it's not going to cause you problems later on in life. Because it frickin' sucks. I'll be honest, it frickin' sucks. Especially when you could have moved a cut 1/2 inch, and you won't notice your problem until you go to put glass in. And then you'll notice a problem. Those are the hot rods you see out there that have no glass in them because they can't figure out how to do it, and where they would have moved a cut and all that. But yeah, so that's I'll just line it up right now. Do the same idea. You know, I still have my little 5-inch piece of paper here, and keep that right to the end, where I'll be you know, laying that out in here to you know, figure out what I'm doing, what I'm cutting out. So for right now, what you're gonna do once you line this all up, you're going to leave it at the door. So you're just gonna cut it to install your door. Then at that point, then you can start playing with it on where you want everything to sit, because that's when you can move stuff around and that. So for right now, I'll do the same idea as what I did last time. Just clean everything up, lay it all out, take a look at it, and then we'll be cutting the door up. So here we go. I'll get this door up on the bench here to make life easier, because I'm fat and old, and I hate I hate bending over more than I actually have to. So we'll get that on the go. Okay, so I got all the rust and paint, everything cleaned up off here, so I'll be able to start laying out my lines here. So what I'm gonna do, same idea as what I did on the car itself. It's right in here. I'll come down, take these tape, I'll come down about that much, so I still have room in here to play with stuff. And that if I have to shorten it up, if you come right up to the hinge, you're kind of married and committed. And some guys are afraid of marriage and commitment. So come down here a bit so you got room to play. And that if we got to shorten and move stuff around to make the window gap look good, don't go right tight up against that hinge. So yeah, so like I said, we'll start marking this and laying everything out here. Make sure it cuts all around nice and straight, and then we'll be mounting the door here. So I'm just going to measure this all up. Got everything all taped up here, 5-inch, and that, so it's ready to do some cutting here. So where I'm going to cut this, and if you notice again, I got all these arrows. Don't forget your arrows. As soon as you put your tape on, put your arrows on. Then that, because it sucks if you're going to cut on the wrong side of this freaking line, because you're going to be 1 inch shorter than the rest of the car. So put these arrows on, and that all the way around. And that, because once you flip this door over, you can't see these arrows, and you can go on the other side. So make sure you put those on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on the top line here, and that is where I'm going to cut on both sides. So this section of the door will still be on there, and that, so because this section here will be easier to cut because it's mounted solid. So I'll cut on the top side of it, and then cut this once I put it into the car is what I'll end up doing here. And yeah, that's what I'll end up doing, is cutting on. So cut your top one, then cut your other one. And that way, when you put it in the car, it's all mounted solid, and you can get a better eye on what your window frame's gonna do and how everything's gonna sit. And then you can take the top down to fit, which in all honesty, it should be pretty close with where we have the lines, because we did 5-inch, it should be close. The only thing that might mess around a little bit is your door hinge. So yeah, let's get this. I think I'll just use a cutoff wheel, because it'll be easier to hold it straight than your Sawzall. Your Sawzall likes to wander, and yeah, we'll use a cutoff disc and get that all cut out of there, and we'll be able to get this door mounted, and hope, fingers crossed, that everything lines up, body lines and everything, and yeah, we'll go from there. So just get a cutoff disc ready to go here, and let's get this cut. got the new 2-piece door here, right there. So it's cut. Now we'll be able to mount this. I don't even worry about cutting these yet. Don't even worry about cutting that off yet till you get this door mounted on. You've cut enough off where you should be able to get that door on without having to cut this yet. We may have to cut a little bit off there to get it to fit, but right now we should be okay to get that on there. We'll see here in just a minute. Might have to cut some of this off, but if I do, I won't go down to that 5-inch line. I will not go all the way down to that. I'll cut it up in here enough, just barely to make it fit on there, and we'll go from there. So it's just one step at a time. Like I said before, and I've said it many times, don't get in here and just start hacking the shit out of everything, because it's going to get you into trouble. And then you're welding pieces in and everything else. So just take it slow. Take it slow, and make a few cuts. And the other thing here, so if you notice, on my one cut, I got a little fat. So if you're going to get fat, go on the side that you're going to be cutting out. So on this side of that line is what's going to be coming out. So you can flatten that out, you're still going to be okay. And where if I would have come up this way, then you would have had a gap to fill with welding later. So as much as you don't want to, if you do, try to go in where you're going to be cutting the section out. And so you can grind it and clean it up later. And even there. So we're pretty good in there. And it makes your life easier. The other thing to watch is your insides here. And you can see what happened. This here ended up breaking off. But if you look inside, you can see that's a little bit off. So you're going to end up grinding it. Clean all your edges up, make them all nice and straight here. You can really see it there. But I went on the good side of it where you can fix it. So just watch for all that. So anyone who knows who builds cars, builds hot rods, there's just certain things that get exciting when you when you start doing them. And as much as I don't have that on there yet, that's exciting. That's roughly what we got going on. But if you notice here, I kind of had to stop here for a minute. If you look, this hinge is causing me grief right there of getting this door on. So what I'll end up doing is I'll cut. I'm probably going to leave 1/2 inch to 1 inch here. So, I still have a little bit to play with there and cut it off. I don't want to go at that yet and cut that right off till I put this top in and everything. Like I said, just in case things have to be, these may not be nicely lined up, and if they're not, then you can play with it in here by wedging it or whatever you have to get this hinge and that hinge to line up nice, and so the door will all open nice. So that's why I don't want to go right at the 5-inch here. If I have to play with that hinge a bit to get the line up, then we're okay. This side here, I'm not even worried about cutting it yet. And that side there I do. The only reason why is because of that hinge. And to be honest, if I could unbolt that hinge, I wouldn't even worry about it. But the chances of being able to do that without drilling everything out, probably slim to nil. So, like I said, there's certain times that get exciting. This is a time that's getting a little exciting. It's starting to look like a car again. I like it. Lines are coming together nice. So I'll just get that cut, and then we'll get that door on. Kind of lock out the door pins have already been punched on these, except for this one here. It needs to be drilled out and everything. But while we're talking about door hinges, because I don't know how many of these damn cars I've gotten where guys go to look at these sitting in a field, and it's beyond me. It's beyond me. They're sitting in a field, you can get in through the broken windows and everything else, but they've got to open that door. Have to open it. I don't know why the hell they need to open it. And they pry the shit out of them. They bend these door pillars all up, bend their hinges, and that, for what reason? For what reason? So, on that note, get the car home, heat them up, lube them up, get them moving nice before you even start attempting to drive these door pins out and bend in a door. Because I'll tell you right, it may not look like there's much in there, but when it comes time to straighten these doors out, it is a pain in the ass. And I don't know how many sets of good doors I've seen and that where guys start twisting the pillars out of them to open the door. For what? You're going to go for a drive? The things are done. So don't open those, just lube them up and everything. Same as when you start punching those pins out, get them lubed, let them sit, lube them up, heat them up, work them slowly. Don't worry about driving them out. It takes time. These cars are, 100 years old or more. It takes time. And if they've sat in a field and gotten rusty, especially people that live in very humid climates, and that they rust. You know, this car here came from a dry climate, hence why he could knock out, I didn't knock these ones out, but hence why he could knock the pins out and that. But if you're in a humid climate, work those things. Don't twist your door posts up and your doors, because you'll hate life later on in life trying to straighten them back out. That's why these it's so nice to chop. So that's just my rant. And that, it's not just on these old Model A's, it's on everything. You know, don't get rammy with them. Don't stick pry bars in and frickin' pry bar stuff out and that. So that's my rant. Take it how you want. Do with it what you want. But I'm gonna cut that now. So let's get to cutting. We got a door installed. And we got to do the doors on, body line lines up. There, I can see here, we're still going to cut down here about 1 inch, and this here will all line up. Nice. So just by going onto the hinge here, it looks like that 1 inch, bringing it down into there is going to work. And then, like I said earlier, the reason why I'll leave it longer in here, because you want to make sure you're going straight up along here and straight with your window and everything. And sometimes these, you know, go lower, go higher, and that just didn't have big good jigs back in the day. So you can play with that later on and that. But if you cut that and commit to that, you're committed to it. So these are all just sort of little tricks here to make everything line up nice. So the first one I'll go after here is the front. And then from there you should be able to roughly line this up and see what you got going on. And then cut the back and start cutting that and trimming it all in so you can fit it. So, you know, I'll be fat. I'll probably go, I may go about 3/8 of an inch fat there to hold that up there, and then slowly bring it down to where you want it. So that's a plan on what I'm going to do right now. So yeah, so I'll get to doing some more cutting and some more fitting, and I got to find a couple door pins actually yet. And that I might have to machine a couple down. But yeah, that's a wrap. Body lines all line up nice. You see here, I got the door taped so things don't jockey around and all that until I get everything all fit. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so ran into my first little hiccup here with chopping it the way we did here at the back, sliding it inside. What ends up happening, and I found out here when I started opening this door and all that, with going inside here, like I've done, what it actually does is it pushes all this ahead a bit. It actually pushes it ahead about 3/8 of an inch. I kind of knew before, but till we got to this point. So what was happening there when we pushed this ahead, it started wanting to move this ahead. And as it moved this ahead, it was throwing this body line out, is what I was doing. And so what I had to do here, and I'll show you. Here, I'll show you here on the other side, because I haven't welded it up yet. What we had to do. So what I did, if you look here, I slid it right here, cut it, and then just moved it in here, and then I trimmed it up and butt welded it all in there nice. And to be honest with you, it actually works out nice, because the reason why here, now if you look, this all lines up. Now if you look here, this 3/8 of an inch right in here works up really nice, because look, it overlaps here, which you're going to cut this and then you're going to butt weld this all really nice, which you end up doing anyways. But usually when you do these, you have to get a piece of 1 inch or whatever, and you have to put a piece of 1 inch in here, butt weld here, fit it all nice. This is actually going to fit in here really, really nice, just like that. So these are all things you run into when you start doing things different, you know, things different with how you haven't done them before. So I still like this idea better. I'm just trying to, so what I had to do on that top roof piece here is I had to open up and pull some of the edges out so I get this thing to slide. So if you look right in here, I cut this out right here, right in there. I cut this back and cut right in here. So that's how now that piece will slide over top, and we can butt weld that all in here at a later date, and then that'll all be a really nice fit. So if you want to run your vinyl later, I'm pretty sure we're running an eave trough on this one in here, and that they'll all end up getting painted, and then he hasn't decided what he's doing for a roof insert yet. So we'll go from there. But like I said, honestly, it worked out pretty good in the end. So it's just, I kind of knew these were little issues I was going to run into here, and to be honest, I looked at it for a while to figure out why this was doing what it was doing. Biggest reason why is because you're actually pushing that roof that little bit ahead, because you're sliding it down in behind the belt line. And so, you know, you're not going to run into a problem with this. This is actually going to, it ends up being about 3/8 of an inch is what you end up, and that shorter in there. So I'm good with it. And all I do is line up that hole and then pull it back, and then we'll butt weld that all in. So this here's just a little issue I ran into, and we're good to go again. We're rolling again. So now I'll get this door cut up and everything, and start getting the top of this door in. So here we go. Let's get that going now. Okay, so I got this piece here. I got it cut. I brought it down to the 5-inch. Here, mark right there. Right there, so it's cut. So now when I hold this up, and I roughly got the door pin in here. These hinges are gonna need some work. They've got a lot of wear to them. But anyways, sometimes what I'll do is I'll machine a set down. I don't have a set right now, but I'll machine a set down so they pull in and out nice and easy. You can even get a piece of like 1/4 inch. Just machine it down a bit so they just pull in and out. Punches will work sometime, just to help out, because it sucks pounding them in and out. And then right now when I hold up to this line, I seem to be probably going to be a little bit high here on the back side if I line up to here. And to where the body line is here. So what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to get a little cocky, and hopefully it doesn't screw me in the end, but I'm going to cut this right at my 5-inch line that I made earlier, and see how everything works. Everything in here seems to be lining up nice, where we're going to be able to weld all that up and tack everything up, and see if this door opens and closes. Biggest thing is this gap inside here, so you're not going to be rubbing on the inside. And that is the biggest thing in here. So once I get this cut, we can start, you know, lining everything up, making sure this body line is straight with this body line here, so they all follow along nice, and you don't have a door that's cocking up like this, and this line's straight, and then it ends up mind screwing you in the end when you get the car done and you stand back and look at it. So these are sort of all things, but from what I see right now, I'm gonna cut this right at the 5-inch mark that I made earlier, and that should bring me in all nice where I want to be. So that's where we're at right now. I'll get this hacked out of here, and then we'll see what we got going on from there. Okay, so I got the, if you look here, we got the door all sitting on there. It fits nice. So here's a little trick that I learned way back from a gentleman who built hot rods in California, and his last name might be Shine. I'm not name dropping. He showed me this trick, and it's a simple little straight edge. It's gonna be hard to show on camera, and he calls it the Judge. And what you do with this thing is you stand back if you want to see if your lines are lined up, and you hold this, and what you do is you look. So you take your body line, you line it up, and when you go like this, you line your lines all the way up. So if you start getting into, you know, where all of a sudden your line's tapering off like this will show it. So it'll tell you how much you got to cut down more yet, whether it's half an inch, until you get that line all nice and straight here. So what I'm doing right now actually is I'm going from the top of the back window across to the front window here to make sure your lines are all lined up and you don't have one taken off on you, so it's not taken off up like this. So it's straight. On these Model A's, those lines actually don't line up. And the only way to fix it is you got to take your hinge and you got to bring your hinge down, is what you have to do a little bit. So on the 28, 29s, like I said before, I cut the tops off, move the hinge. You can play with that and you can get that line to line up all the way across. 30, 31s, it's a bit more difficult because we're not playing with that hinge. So before I start welding anything up, this is what I do. And I take this, like I said, it's called the Judge, and you line up all your straight lines that are running all the way down. So for instance, right now I can see from your back to your front, you're actually, that's up about 1/2 inch. Your window, your front door window to your back is probably up about 1/2 inch, but they're straight. You don't have one tapering off on the other one, which is good, because once you get the car done and you stand back from it, especially if you have a show or something in a parking lot and you can really line it up, you'll pick up on that and it'll drive you crazy. Once the car's painted and everything, you ain't fixing it after that. So that's just a little trick that you can do the same thing with the body lines and all that. Like it works really good. Just stand back and just line it up and take this and eyeball it, and you'll be able to tell what your lines look like. So like I said, it's called the Judge, and it won't freaking lie to you. It'll tell you. You know, right now you look at it, all looks good, but as soon as you lay that out, you'll see it. So just a little tip trick to make your life easier and make it so you can line your lines all up. But honestly, we got some nice looking lines. I'm liking it. So I'm going to get that green tape off there, and then we'll start tacking that all up. So we have a door. It opens. It closes. We good. So there's still some detail work to do, and actually the detail work takes a bunch of time. So if you look here, stuff like this, you know, here we gotta bring that in, and that will end up slitting this, bringing it in. I do the same thing up in here. So, you know, the biggest, when you do these chops, the chop itself's pretty freaking, you know, it's pretty easy. It's all the little detail work, your garnish moldings, all that sort of stuff that you end up doing afterwards. It all takes time. It all takes time. So what I'm doing right now is pretty much tacking everything together. So if anything moves, it's easier to move around and everything. Then I'll start, you know, laying welds in and everything. Like everything's lining up really nice here. I gotta get that other door done and the top there, and then we're gonna play with this back window. So the next video is gonna be playing with this back window to get it all lined up and make it look pretty, and then it'll be weld everything up. So that's where we're at with this thing right now. So we'll get another video together. Sorry this one here took so long. Had some health issues, and yeah, we're good now. We good now. Need a little tune up, and that's all. Yeah, we're good. So, you know, everyone, you know, get out there and do something cool. Subscribe. I appreciate every subscription. Everyone who subscribes, like, share, you know, all that good stuff. We keep these builds going. So especially this Model A here, and we'll keep going. So everyone, you know, like I said, like, share, follow, all the good stuff, and you know what? Get out there, build something cool, and you know, you won't build anything sitting on your couch. So so get out there, build something cool, enjoy life. See you guys all in the next video, and bye.
Hey, give me the chip, I need the championship. Wait, we got